Hey everybody, and welcome to part 2. We're going to push up to this rail line here and see what happens. I've encountered no enemies yet, but things are moving. Now, you watched last episode, which I'm assuming you did, because why would you be watching part 2 of something this niche if you hadn't watched part 1? Not that I'm judging. If you haven't, keep that in mind. Cool to everybody. But I've already set up my next turn, so now I'm just going to hit this and go. See if we encounter some Germans now that I'm actually moving up a little bit. And some big things here, some big movements. See what happens. Nobody sees anything. Not that I would expect them to at the damn wheat field. Alright, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good dual company offensive I have going. You guys better hop that damn fence. Rah! Look at this guy. I bet he thinks he's cool. You can see it in his eyes. It's levitating even. Good looking hand. Okay, I feel like I should be making a move because there's, you know, now how much time left? Not a lot. But I legitimately don't know what to do. Did I ever blast through over here? No, I didn't, because these guys take a long time to blast through. That's right, I remember that. We'll keep it up. I'll give it one more turn of doing nothing. Got some sort of German contact over here, which would make sense considering it's a position covering like a house that's flooded downhill with woodland in front of it. And the defenders get such an advantage in the rain, in Normandy, around bocages. My only advantage is numbers, and that's about it. And superior firepower, I'd say, but that comes with numbers. But the Garand is quite a powerful weapon. You can put a lot of fire down really fast with it. Though I don't... Okay, it scared me a little bit. Alright, we're through. Now let's turn off trees and throw on trunks so I actually have an idea of what's going on here. I'm thinking I could probably blow through here and then set up along this, alright. See if I can see anything that way. Alright, let's do it. It's not the hunt command you guys just run of. Is this a 2-squad company? Sorry, platoon? You? That's it, yeah. I'm in contact with Dog Company, but Dog Company's not in contact with Battalion or Regimental. Well, I know there's contacts along that, so I don't know if it's a good idea to push forward there. What I'll do to check... No, I'll just leave them where they are. These guys out here. What I'll do is I'll split out a scout team, push them there, see if it's good to go. these three, it should all be, yeah, this is all dog company. These guys are all easy company over here. Well, I think I'm going to pile out dog company along this southern area, and I'll probably put easy company. I don't know, there's actually not a lot of room to set up. Maybe the easy company will just be on reserve. I've been having some serious thoughts about, like, glorification of war, and, like, why even I'm interested in it. And I think I'm pretty interested in it because of, you know, the tactical side of it, which that's basically just like an advanced game of chess. You don't have to feel bad about liking something that's extreme challenge. Humans like challenges, humans like games. But my fascination with combat and tactics does go beyond just a fascination with the tactics itself and the head-on-head nature of it and, you know, the thought game that lies there. There is some definite morbid fascination and, to some extent, glorification of war itself, which weirds me out because it's something that I kind of like, but there's nothing I can do about liking it. Like, I don't know if I should be ashamed or what. It's, like I said, it is a morbid fascination. What's got me thinking about this is I've been reading Storm of Steel by Ernst Jünger, who was a German who fought from 1914 all the way to 1918 in World War I, which was a much more horrendous war than, well, the Western Front was much more horrendous than pretty much anything the Americans or the British saw, even the Italians saw in World War II. The only thing that could maybe be comparable to it is the Eastern Front in World War II, and the Western Front in World War I those are both maybe the most horrendous wars that have ever, looks like there's some MP40 fire. There are guys right there. I probably shouldn't have sent them forward. It's looking like, well, it is what it is. Fire back. I would say that the Pacific Front was pretty horrendous as well. Like, that's probably the top 3 worst wars. Pacific for the Americans. Basically anything where combat doesn't stop. Like, I feel like World War II has a lot of misconceptions about it, and a lot of people seem to think that, like, the Americans really gave the Germans the killing blow, and it was really up to the Americans to stop the Germans. I feel like that's the general consensus, at least where I live in America, and to be honest, the Germans were pretty well defeated by the time America came in. We just helped clean up. I mean, we did not decide World War II at all. If we're talking about the German conflict, we pretty much decided fate of Pacific Front. But, I mean, at this point, they had already been, the Germans that is, had already been fighting the Russians for like 4 years. And the Russians had already done all the dirty work, lost like 18 million people or something crazy like that. It's horrendous. But yeah, I'm rambling, or at least not necessarily rambling, but I'm off on a tangent about what I was originally talking about, which is I've been having like weird, after reading Storm of Steel by Ernst Jünger, I've read a lot of war anecdote books, because like I said, I've always been fascinated in it, but none of them have hit me quite like this. I mean, hearing about, just when you know it's real, and you read like, oh, you know, some guy, like 10 people in his platoon got killed that morning. Those are all real people that really existed, that really went through that. And that's like, it hit me in a weird way, and it made me actually feel like pretty bad about treating war as a game. Not that I don't have a respect for it, but to some degree, I think anybody watching this video can understand what I mean. We definitely enjoy it to some extent. Not that we've necessarily ever been through it. I mean, maybe some of you have, I don't know. And I think even people that go through it, I've read war anecdote books or just, you know, self-autobiographies where there are people who have, to some degree, get an enjoyment from combat. It's a huge adrenaline rush, and it's a huge, like, head-on-head tactical thing. Obviously, humans might get some enjoyment from that, but it's still a horrible thing. Not that, I mean, I'm not saying anything profound by saying that war is a horrible thing. I'm pretty sure that's what most people typically seem to think. But But I'd say if you play a combat mission game or you read autobiographies, you probably have a better understanding of actual combat than most people do. So the opinions might be a little bit biased. How am I going to do this? I really need to be putting rounds down right now. I don't think I could get rounds over there because they can't see. Well, I'm going to get them to blasting then. Eyes out that way. It's weird to question your own interests, is what I'll say. Why you're interested in something, if it's bad that you're interested in something. That's why I call it a morbid curiosity, because it is pretty morbid to be this interested in war or to think it's this cool, because all of these things are made for a purpose that really, in an ideal world, wouldn't exist. It's still super cool, though. Fascinating, I guess is a better word. Pretty bad here. Also, if anybody has read any good autobiographies from honestly any war, because the thing I'm fascinated about is the human condition in combat and the fact that people are willing to push on and still have humor and, you know, be humans even though they're in a horrific environment. Like, that's the thing that's interesting to me. So if anybody knows of any good autobiographies from any war, tell me in the comments, because I'm totally down to read it, especially now that I'm done with Storm of Steel, which I'd say so far has been my favorite, because World War I is absolutely the most fascinating and the thing I know the most about in terms of war history or just any history. Okay, so we've spotted an MG42, which is good that I've left these platoons out here, because I can get some serious rounds on that guy right now. Nice. Let's see. Okay. I would think this would be enough to pin him down. It's nice having this base of fire on an uphill slope, because I can hit a lot of specific positions if I need to. This is my... Okay, this platoon. Oh, I've got a 3-squatter here, huh? Oops. No, I've already sent that one. This is just a 2-squatter. What am I talking about? That's embarrassing. So then I've got my 3 sections over here. Get some mortars on the line. Set up to... I don't think I ever deployed that mortar, so he's not even going to hit him. That sucks. I should have deployed him. I don't know what I was thinking. Still not in contact? You got a radio. So does he. I guess he's in radio contact with whoever's above him. It doesn't even tell me. I don't even know what would be above a battalion. That's like the whole army. So I guess that would be a general above him. Not to get back onto, you know, philosophizing. Okay, you know what word I'm trying to say. Not to get back to that about war, but another thing I think is interesting is the general hate of an enemy. Because both sides hate the enemy, and I mean, who's really right or wrong? And I know the Nazis especially, and I'm not saying that these guys are Nazis because it's not, these are Wehrmacht, and a lot of people get that distinction wrong. Just because, like, a lot of the Germans you see in movies and stuff were drafted. They're not bad guys, they're the same as you. They're 18-year-olds that were sent here to fight. Like, they don't hate you, you don't hate them. At least you shouldn't, because they're just kids, just like you. But, geez, there's some serious fighting going on. I hear another MG as well. I'm gonna find that thing. Is it the one up here? No, it's not. Where is it? Find it, exactly. Over here somewhere. Found it. It's right here. Let's see what he's hitting. I'm assuming he's not farther back. Nope, he's not. Okay, he's right here. I can pin that down. Right there on that corner. Okay. These squads should be able to hit it. Ooh, look at that. Can I get it closer than that? No, that's the tile he's in. Alright. I wish these guys weren't getting hit. I would love to put some mortars right here. Oh, they already have been. Judging that they only have 31 shells. Oh no, they haven't. Everybody starts with 31 on this one, it's looking like. Yeah, I don't have a lot of mortar shells then, I gotta be careful. What do I have for call-in arty? Pack howitzers and 81 millimeters. How many shells? 105 with 30 white phosphorus. 100, 110 HE shells, and 8 white phosphorus of 81. Alright. Got some 75. Use that later. I can find a purpose for it. Machine gun that machine gunner real quick. And that is... I can definitely hit into little peepholes of that thing. Actually, there's a guy outside of it. So I should be able to... let's see. Alright, I hope this firing line thing works out. This is not good cover right here. That's the one problem I'm really going to have. Obviously way out of distance to hit with any sort of AT. I know there's some Germans in here, so I should put some rounds down for a little bit. See what happens. Quite a fight. Jeez, this is a... Oop, is that dug-in emplacements? Oh gosh damn it. I hate dug-in emplacements. Damn. Alright, I need more fire up than this right now. I'm gonna switch that to heavy. Put heavy fire there. Wherever that MG is. Yeah. I need some serious fire on that thing, so you guys are up. Why is it only letting me get in one position? I'd like to spread out a little. Yeah. Getting through this shit is nearly impossible. It's bogging me down. Some real fire there. AR fire on that thing before it takes out more of my guys. I might have to pull off this line. Oh, they put their little cage up. That's cool, I guess. This is tough. It's medium mortar setup. Can I get some artillery though? Curious. Then get some 81 off map. Just give me a point target. No, you can't see anything really? Nothing? Get a point target there? Sure. One, harassing fire, medium duration, immediately go.
Request fire mission over.
Oh, does it only turn off trees around your men? That's really cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fire I'm up against. I wasn't actually expecting this kind of sight lines at all. This is pretty bad. Sustained 3 casualties, I believe. Tough, but it is what it is, I guess. Sounds that way. I need to get those machine gunners pinned. I'm really worried about this thing, though. Actually, give me full on fire on that thing. That's fine. Or hold up here waiting. See what happens. Yeah, what I think's odd, though, I understand the hate of the Nazis, okay? That obviously makes total sense, because of course you'd hate a group like the Nazis. But what nobody ever seems to talk about, and it's weird because it's been like 70 years, so you'd think at some point, I know that when things are fresh, it's hard to talk about the realities of the situation, but something I've always thought is weird, right? How do you get an entire nation to do something as radical as the Nazis? Obviously, that's because of environmental factors. If you look at the political situation immediately following World War I, Germany was a victim in that war, 100%. They didn't start that war. Some Serbian did, and it wasn't even... Okay, they might have preemptively made a move, but they only preemptively made a move because they knew Russia and France were going to soon, and it was better for them to go first than later when they would have been built up. That makes absolute sense. They didn't realize that with modern technology it would turn into the worst war ever because nobody understood machine guns, you know, used in combat. Actually, the main thing isn't machine guns, it would be artillery. That was the real differing point between that and any previous wars. So they didn't understand what they were getting into, but neither did anybody. So I don't understand why Germany would be considered to be the aggressors there. And then on top of that, they have to front the price for that war, even though they suffered just as badly as anybody did. And, you know, you have an entire generation of young men killed, just like the Russians, which is why they had such a radical revolution around that same time period. When you have an entire generation of young men killed, then the generation behind it is brought up without any sort of guidance. And also, they're in a situation where their country is entirely economically collapsed, and of course they hate the rest of the world, because they blame the rest of the world for blaming them. The rest of the world created the Nazis just as much as Germany did. Like, nobody talks about that. Nobody ever says that what the rest of the world, what the UN did to Germany, nobody ever talks about that as being bad, even though that was horrible. Everybody is just as much at fault for World War II as the Germans are. It's weird that they get a really bad rap. I mean, it's understandable that they get a really bad rap, but it's weird that they still, to this day, the Nazis are, like, absolutely hated. And of course you hate somebody for the actions they've done, but you should also be able to look and understand why those things happened, and why a group like that was able to take charge. But I'm just for objectiveness in anything. I don't want bias anywhere, especially not bias in history. Bias in history is really dangerous, and that's how you end up having inaccurate records from the past that just are basically mental masturbation for the side that won. That's not healthy. Ooh, that was a good mortar shot. I was really close. If the mortar lands on top of that thing, that'd be good. This is a really tough fight. This water is really bogging down everything. I'm going to change this. I'm going to let people set up their own fire sectors. So I have to assume that if I'm taking casualties, which I need to get a number of real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 casualties across that company. There might have been more. They might have been medicked. I don't know. But let's just call it 5. And across this line, I believe I have one, and that's it. So I believe that's it. But ammo is actually running pretty low on my weapons teams, so I'll need to be careful with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give each platoon a firing area that they're going to cover. You know, in any political platform, in any power platform, it doesn't have to be political. In any platform, there are people who use it to do bad things. There are people who take advantage of their power and do bad things. That is not something that is exclusive to the Nazis. That is not something that is exclusive to the Russians. The U.S. is capable of those same actions. So are any European Union nation. So is any nation in all of NATO. I think it's bad to play the whole good guy, bad guy thing. I think it's bad to record history as a good guy, bad guy environment, because nobody thinks they're the bad guy. Everybody believes themselves to be right. And honestly, the only thing that is considered right is like what the general consensus is of the people around you. Because nobody is right and nobody is wrong, ever. Because everything we do is perceived through our own brains. Actually, I'm not going to move and put her up in there. That'd be dumb. Not to get like too political, but you see the same thing with ISIS and any of these like Muslim radicalizations. It's been a war-torn area for a long time, but more specifically recently. So you have people growing up who hate Western society because Western society has killed their friends and family. Now I know there's reasons behind those people getting killed. Even the collateral damage, it's exactly what it is. It's collateral. It's unintentional. But you can't just act like they're being ridiculous for radicalizing. It makes total sense. I'm not saying what they're doing is correct. I'm just saying you need to look at the reasons on why somebody does something, on why they believe what they're doing is right. I believe open-mindedness in everything is the right way. And I'm not one of those people that says you shouldn't kill other people and that violence is bad, not that violence is bad because violence is bad, but that violence is never the answer, because oftentimes the correct answer to receiving violence is violence. That absolutely is the answer a lot of the times. I'm not somebody that is like anti-violence. I mean, I'm anti-violence on a general level. I think it should hopefully never happen to begin with, but when it does, answering with violence is fine. Of course, there's gray areas there that you need to look into. But still, in anything, I don't think hate should be involved in violence at all. I don't think you should hate your enemy. I don't think you should... Honestly, I think cold blood is better than hot blood. You shouldn't react in an angry manner. I think anything should be done in a cold, calculated way to try and mitigate violence in the future. So currently I have nobody laying down any fire, but people have target arcs, so we'll see how that works out. Because I'm really worried about ammo, I'm going to let my soldiers decide when to shoot, because I'm worried about this. By getting an extended firefight, which is already clearly happening because I've got a firing line here, I will lose that if I'm not careful. When do I have those mortars coming? And it's 5 minutes. Okay, that's a long time. That's going to be a good position to hit, though. Let me see. I've got other guys I could have call in some artillery real quick. Take out another position. Maybe that one. Not on map. Okay, let's get some pack howitzers on it. Pack howitzers on point right. Well, these guys are under fire, so it might be difficult. Let's see. 13 minutes as well. That's still going to be a good position to hit, though.
Request fire mission, over.
That comes in soon. Well, I mean, I know it won't come in soon. I know it'll take 13 minutes. You know what? I just looked at the time, and I'm realizing I'm actually going to have to head out now. Sorry if this is a very political or philosophical episode, but I've just been thinking, man, because, I don't know, you read those war anecdote books, you read the autobiographies, you read the horrible things that humans have gone through, and the fact that they're willing to go through it, it's incredible. And it's got me thinking, and I know people that play combat mission are going to understand that better than, you know, most, because I'm sure anybody that plays combat mission also has sort of a morbid fascination with war. So, you know, thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. Like I said, you know any good autobiographies, please tell me, because I absolutely am fascinated with war autobiographies. So, thanks, and I'll try to keep the next one a little bit less political. But until then, have a good, let's say, 3 or 4 days.